Hi, I'm Frauke Neuser. I'm a scientist. I work on the wonderful Olay skincare brand. Have been working on it now for 7 years. It's been proven in so many studies, so much research. I just read up on it. It's been used since the 1940s. So we're like over 60 years of retinol. And so there's just so much data available. Originally it was used, as you probably know, for acne treatments. And then over the years, at some point there was a very crucial study where dermatologists used it on sort of adults with adult acne. And the women came back and said, oh my God, it makes my wrinkles disappear. And that's really how retinol became such an important anti-aging ingredient, but it started as acne decades ago. And severe signs of photoaging, so someone with a lot of UV damage, so it helps with wrinkles, with kind of any signs of photoaging, such as loss of elasticity, hyperpigmentation, sunspots, brown spots. But we now know that it does a lot more. So it used to be a problem solver. Now we know that even if you have pretty good skin, it can really help with other types of texture and tone benefits. So we're really talking about bright and smooth skin. So it really makes your pores appear much smaller, gives you a more even skin tone. It's just sort of your best skin. Remember when you had your best skin before it started having those little flaws? That's what retinol will do. Traditionally, it used to be recommended and even prescribed by dermatologists for teenagers with acne, and for mature skin, probably sort of your 50s, 60s, when really that damage had built up enough to be quite severe. Mm-hmm. But now we're basically saying it's beneficial at any age. I mean, I spoke to some dermatologists and they said, from cradle to grave. You start maybe you start in your late teens or even in your early 20s, and then there's no reason to ever stop using it because your skin will always benefit. Yeah, and of course that's a prescription product. So if you didn't have a problem, maybe now you're 23 and you're like, is it too early for me to use retinol? Mm-hmm. But again, your skin is already starting to deplete in collagen, for example, right? You're not really at your best height anymore, skin-wise. Right. And it's those little things that start showing up. And if you think about retinol as really a rebalancing your skin to its best, everybody needs that. When you look at retinol products, there's a lot of different things that you need to be aware of that you obviously want that product to deliver. There are thousands of different retinoids, right? Do you want retinol? Retinoic acid you can't really use because that would have to be prescription, but there's retinol. There are thousands of different retinoids, so you have to pick the right ingredient. Is it stable? Is it at the right level? Will it stay stable? Is the formula able to deliver the retinol into the skin versus just sitting on the surface? You want to avoid the irritation. Everybody's heard retinol can irritate your skin. So it's basically you're trying to keep 6 different balls in the air as a formulator and trying to find just the right balance. And it took us a long time to really get it absolutely right. And Retinol24 is the result of it, but it wasn't an easy journey. Yeah, so we actually looked at a couple of different options in terms of what type of retinol to use. Retinol palmitate is one that's very popular. There are lots of new launches in the last couple of years have been using retinol palmitate. So we looked at that because it's very stable, very gentle, but we discovered, and other people have discovered, that it doesn't really penetrate very well into skin because it's too big. Well, size matters in skincare. If something is too big, it's not going to go into your skin. So we discarded that and went for something else. So that took a while to get there. But I think what surprised us was how important so retinol is a vitamin A derivative, right? So it's a fat-soluble vitamin. So you can't put it just into a watery solution. You need an oil to dissolve your ingredient in. And we didn't realize how critical the role of that oil was. Now there are hundreds of different oils, right? Natural oils, olive oil, mineral oils, silicon oils, and from the thousands of options, finding just the right oil that would keep the retinol stable, allow it to penetrate into skin, give it that, very, very delightful formulation, and, the texture and the feel. That surprised us, that one thing was so important. Also, if someone has never used retinol, or maybe they've had, 5 years ago and they've had bad experiences, I would say pick one of the products, right? We're not selling this as a collection, a 3-step collection. You need to use all of them to see results. Just pick one of them. Maybe if you're looking for a moisturizer, a serum, pick one, and then, but do use it every night. There's no need to only, start once a week and then work your way up with this formulation. There's really no need to do that.
So you can jump right in and use it every day.
Jump right in, use it every day.
Okay.
And then, as you feel more comfortable, you could think about, do I want, or maybe you don't need a second product, maybe say, oh, I'm seeing the results, that's all I need, because, more isn't necessarily more. Because it works for 24 hours. And, we talked about that, so obviously, retinol propionate, which is one of the main retinoids in our product, doesn't quite have the same potency as a retinoic acid, but it is much gentler, and the way we get some of this gentleness is because it slowly penetrates into your skin and kind of gets converted into retinoic acid in your skin cells, and that penetration goes on for a good 24 hours, so we can measure that, and so your skin cells don't have to deal with a high concentration of an irritating ingredient like within 5 minutes. It's a gentler ingredient, but it also, some of the gentleness comes from the slow release effect. And then of course someone says, well, but you would have washed your face before the 24 hours are over. Yes, you would have. But if you remember some of the data, kind of, even in the first 12 hours it penetrates, let's say 10 layers deep, and then you wash your face, it doesn't matter because it's already in the surface of your skin, and from there it can penetrate deeper. Myth and not, right? Because you have to have you have to have a certain amount, right, that's stable in the product to deliver, into your skin cells for it to be effective, clearly. But if you look at where retinols come from, retinoic acid is the most potent form of retinol, which is only allowed to be used in prescription products. And if you look at those levels, it can be as low as 0.05%. Definitely below 0.1%, and this is the most potent form that really delivers amazing results. So retinol is one of these ingredients where you only need very little, and it's more important to formulate it well than just go for a big number. It can be, and again, retinoic acid, the most potent of the retinoids. Yes, there are very few people who won't experience any irritation. But usually your dermatologist will give you lots of good tips on how to use it, how to combine it to get over that, and you're probably going to get used to it over a couple of weeks. But the beautiful thing about retinol and some of the other retinoids is that they are gentler. Again, it really depends on the level and on the overall formulation, but you shouldn't, what definitely is a myth to say, if it doesn't irritate, it doesn't work. That's nonsense.
Okay.
It can work and still be super gentle, it's just more difficult to formulate it that way. Most retinol products are recommended to be used at night, including the Olay Retinol24. But, and that's really, it's not that you couldn't use it during the day, but retinol, one of the difficulties about retinol is that it's not very stable, and so light and heat and oxygen can cause it to degrade. So now if you have a product, you put it on your skin, you go out into the sun, before the retinol is even fully penetrated into your skin, some of it might degrade from the UV that reaches your skin. So you're kind of losing some of the efficacy. That's the main reason why a lot of products say use it at night versus the day. What is a myth is it's not making your skin more sensitive to UV, it's more the retinol itself is sensitive to the UV. So does a retinol product need to be yellow? Should it be yellow? It doesn't need to be yellow. If you buy a retinol product and it's yellow to start with, it could mean many things. It could mean it's packed full of retinol because retinol is bright yellow as a raw material. But it could also be yellow because there are dyes in there. It could be white because the retinol is encapsulated away, just like in the Olay product. What should be a concern is if it changes color over time. So whether it's light yellow, bright yellow, or white to start with, if after a couple of days you see kind of that crust around the opening, the tube or the jar, and it changes color, that is not a good sign, because that probably means that the retinol is degrading, so the product won't be as efficient as it should be.